got it. Okay, fantastic. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Here from Coldwell Banker Dynasty in Temple City. We are the HQ here because we're an agency that cares and an agency with a lot of heart, everyone. I'm excited that you're all here. It is a holiday. We are working. We always work. Back at you, John. And I'm excited to welcome all of you. I'd like to go ahead and start off with a quote that I have shared in the past with you. And that quote is one that I never, ever, ever get tired of looking at. And I'll say it right here. Please remember and try to remember this, everyone. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. And the way you make others feel, is your trademark. So I want to share that. I want to share that because I know you've all heard it at some day or time, but you may have internalized it in a different way. The way we make others feel, that could be the yes or the no. And each and every single one of you affiliates, when you come in here, you make us. I know personally, and what I hear is that you do make us all feel special. And we hope that whenever you come into this office here, that you feel nothing less than that you feel special. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with having all of you introduce yourself. Affiliates, we're going to go ahead and begin with John Wax. John, you're up.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Kelvin. I'm blessed to be a part of this office. Thank you for allowing us to be on these meetings. I'm John Wax with Snap and See Natural Hazard Disclosure Reports. I want to wish you a wonderful summer season. One more day and we're in summer. It's a great time to go out there and meet the public. Great time to do food drives. Food drives they do a lot of times during Thanksgiving and times of end of the year. But go out there and put a flyer together and say that you're supporting the community. It's a good way to meet the people and let them know that you really care about them. As far as the NHD reports go, please remember you can order your Snap NHD reports at time of listing or beforehand. Take it with you. There's no penalty to you. It'll only pay if it closes. And I'm here for you. I give you 30 years of experience, and I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not wearing one, but biggest tip to you is when you're out in public, always wear your badges, have cards, pens, appropriate documents with you because you never know where the deck steal is coming from. Thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of the week and happy Juneteenth.
Yay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now, we'll let Kelvin go over the details on Juneteenth because everyone has a different mindset on that. But here next in line, let's go with Sandy. Sandy, you're up.
Do that. My newest great nephew was born today. So Juneteenth, he's never going to go to school on his birthday. That's what I know. Right? Born on a federal holiday, rock on. Anyway,
yeah.
As affiliates, we always want to bring value to you. So I have some numbers for you. First quarter of this year, January, February, March, in my territory, which is the Western San Gabriel Valley, I had 413 claims, which amounted to $92,358 spent on your clients for their service claims. In the last 12 months, are you sitting down? 6,782 claims in my territory. Wow. 6,700, and I feel like I was involved in every single one. God knows I wasn't. It sure feels like I was, but that's the difference right there. I'm involved in the claims that I need to be involved in. And there were almost 7,000 claims in my territory in the last 12 months, $1.7 million of our money spent on your clients. And that's not a retail figure. That's a wholesale figure. Retail world, that's $3.4 million. So home warranty has value. Make sure your clients have the right coverage so they can benefit from this value and this representative helping them with their claims. Have a fantastic long weekend. Well, it's Wednesday. I'm taking the rest of the week off, by the way. Going to get my kid out of Lompoc. So have a great long weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Now, Sandy, how do we know it's really you and it's not your sister?
Okay, a couple of tells. Dawn has bangs.
Okay.
That's your big one. Same voice, same hand manners.
Dawn That's good bangs. To know.
Yeah.
And Sandy wears glasses.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Dawn should wear glasses.
Awesome. Next. Next here is Scott. Scott, you're up.
The way you could tell Sandy's sister is Sandy's kid was on that show called The Bachelor. One of those crazy shows.
Correct.
Yes, that's right.
Finalist. So today's message, do not sleep on reverse mortgages. And you're like, how does that come into real estate? Well, right now, there's so many realtors out there looking for business. This is a way to talk about something different with your clients, to free money up to potentially buy a house. So if someone is trying to help their kid buy a house and they're like have a lot of equity in their house, but they can't like do a refinance where they can qualify to pull money out or something like that, you can do a reverse mortgage, pull the money out. They can use that money to give it to their kid. They can take their monthly mortgage payment away, so it helps them from a cash flow perspective. Also, people don't know that you can buy a house with a reverse mortgage. So you might have a situation where someone's got a bigger house and they want to move down, but they don't want to get a new mortgage. So what you do is you sell the house, you get the reverse mortgage, you buy the new house with the reverse mortgage, and they can have no monthly mortgage payment. So what does that do for you as a realtor? That gives you 2, 3 multiple deals. You get a listing on the big house. You get a purchase transaction on the other side. If the kid, if they give the money to the kid for a down payment, you get their deal. So you can get a bunch of deals out of this. If you want to hear more about that, contact me and I'll walk you through it in more detail. All right. Thanks for letting us participate.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Next here, I see Nicole. Nicole, you're up.
Good morning. Great quote, Sylvia. A great reminder. And yes, it's a pleasure to walk in the office and see all of you. You are all, as you said, office with heart. And we thank you for that. Just want to bring up a point. I was listening to a podcast this morning, Brian Buffini. And right now, I know we're all going through some transition. There's still opportunity out there. I recommend, if you're not doing this, going through your database and making phone calls. 5 a day. That's all it takes. Make 5 a day. Reach out to them. Check with your sphere of influence. Find out how they're doing. Give them some information as far as the market. We have market reports, trend reports that we can pass your way if you'd like access to those items. And we have lots of other resources and tools to help you if you're looking for ways to connect with your clients. Don't forget, always, always, always reach out and let them know that you're here to help them. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. And we'd love to represent you for your next title. Nicole and Yvonne, Fidelity. Thank you, Sylvia. And Calvin.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And next, what I see here, I'm so excited that Connie's back with us. Connie, you're up. You're muted. You're muted, Connie.
Am I?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. I'm Connie with Perfect Escrow. Just to remind everyone, it's always good to have, an escrow officer on you with you at all times. I'm always at reach. If you're representing the seller before you get a listing agreement, I can always prepare a net sheet for you. So then, you can better prepare yourself. And always ask your client if they're going to be out of town, out of the country. It's always good to know ahead of time. So then we can always prepare a power of attorney for them. Okay. I can always be reached. Okay. Even though it's not my transaction, I can always go over paperwork with you. So just a phone call away and we're just down the street. Happy Wednesday to everyone and have a very nice, rest of the week.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Connie. Appreciate you. And next who I see here is Sage. Sage, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm just happy to be here with you all. I just wanted to remind you that you are a CRES office. So what that means, it allows your seller $25,000 in additional E&O. And if you combine it with a CRES home warranty, then you get a combination of $75,000 in additional E&O insurance for your seller. It's only beneficial to CRES offices, and you guys are a CRES office. So make sure to utilize that. Other than that, I hope that if you do have the day off, take time to just do whatever you need to do for your mental health and take time for yourself. And if you guys need anything at all, you can always reach me. Sage Gomez with my NHG. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And we see anyone, any other affiliate has signed on since we came? And no. Okay. Looks like some affiliates took the holiday off. Okay. Or just not here. Appreciate all of you. So now with that said, out in the lobby, we have a dozen of double chocolate cupcakes. Baked them last night with Mark, with the heat and everything. We went ahead and put them out there with chocolate frosting. They're dreamy. They're really dreamy.
Very nice.
So you want to come by, take a cupcake, please do so. It's just because we do things just because. So appreciate you. So with that said, I want to go ahead and get the drum roll and then everything going, because how many offices out there actually have a broker that comes into the office, that sits with the agents, that has conversations with the agents, goes over technology with them, helps them with their not job description, their listing property description. In my experience, none. So with that said, I value having a broker here. He has a smile. He may not always be hugging you and doing warm and fuzzy things with you, but hey, that's why he's got me here. Okay, we got all that going, and you're up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the awesome introduction, Sylvia. I wish I can give you hugs to everybody, but I unfortunately am the trainer for sexual harassment training, and I'm supposed to not do any of that stuff. So therefore, good to see you all today on this wonderful Juneteenth. And the weather's starting to pick up. The season and the summer season is fully in full gear. Kids are out of school. I hope you guys are making productive time while we have more daylight in our actual physical 24-hour day. So it's really cool to have, and hopefully just really going out there, talking real estate with others, because I know there's a lot of news. There's a lot of stuff going on everywhere on all angles, and we're in the middle of this, okay? It's not just inflation. It's not just rates. It's not just high interest environment of unaffordability. There's a lot of issues going on about affordable housing. There's issues on the homelessness. There's issues regarding our even own campaigns going on our new presidential election. So I hope you're staying plugged in. I hope you're hearing a wide variety of sources of news, updates, and opinions, so that you can make your well-informed decision after hearing all people's input. We're going to be covering a little bit about the market. I'm going to be covering today a lot of cool stuff regarding upcoming trainings. So with that said, I'm going to start the slides real quick, if you don't mind. And we'll start with a little bit more inspiration. So hopefully you guys see the presentation right now. Okay. Thank you to our affiliates for being here. I see a lot of you guys welcoming back and still on full charge and really just doing great things with spreading news and things about your industry. Thank you for coming back. James Collins is saying in this quote, "Greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness, it turns out, is largely a matter of conscious choice. It's about discipline." And when I think about greatness, and people all look at their heroes, they all think about their mentors. And for me, myself, I look at, my dad's one of my mentors and heroes as well. And I think of him as a great person. But when you look at from the other side of this thing, I don't think he thinks of himself as great. I don't think they just say, I turned on a switch or you yourself, you can't just turn on a switch and boom, you're great. You have to make a conscientious choice every single day to be doing the right thing, to be disciplined in your business, disciplined in your belief systems, disciplined in how you treat others and your clients in your work. And overall, it's just discipline in your choices that you're making every single day. It is a series of the 1,000 choices you make every single day that will make you a great person, because overall people will look at the greater good. They'll look at the greater things and look up to you, not just for one single action, but for constantly being there for them, for constantly being a great a great ear and being a great listener. Greatness could be anything, just from being and leading your own families, but it could also be greatness in leading your own friends and circles that you're working around with network. So I just hope that you choose every single day in the morning that you become great, or you do the great things that make you stand out. Okay, it is the weak person, it is the soft person who takes the shortcuts. It is a successful person who actually just does the hard things and does the opposite of the grain. I also wanted to add in another quote from Barack Obama. Juneteenth, and we talked about this, is really not a holiday to me, but it's something that we should just celebrate or recognize as a transition, as change for the positive.
Yeah.
So that's the quote we're going to share. Is Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It's a celebration of progress, of our country's progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is possible, and there's still so much work to do. So when I think about that, I go, that is true. You know, we have so much progress from just some 60 years ago. Women weren't even able to vote. Okay. It's only until the women's suffrage movement. So this is just a short amount of time, yet we've made a lot of different progress. We're recognizing people of all classes and all races. And obviously slavery is not just one thing, but we do have a lot more issues to work out in our own country. But hopefully our leaders, our politicians are able to help us through it. I don't have a lot of hope. We are here ready for our sales meetings. We got every bi-weekly schedule posted above, and our keys to success, I've been on there, still chugging along and really just dedicating myself with the students that wish to attend. This should be at 2:00. I apologize for this mistake. 2:00 is my keys to success training. I have a section in Sylvia. Do you have any updates as well as ones? Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Kelvin. I think I'm going to go ahead and chime in, especially with the part of, women not being able to vote. I've been on the Women's Political Caucus on the executive team, and not because I'm running for office or anything like that, but to try and better myself as a leader. However, with that said, hold on, I have something here in my office. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so women empowerment, building our blueprint of change. So I'm going to focus a little bit on the women empowerment. So what challenges do we encounter, especially as a woman, predominantly in a male industry? So I just want to share that, I've had a chance of unique lens given in my history. So what I share with you is, lean into what is leading the company and understand what agents and brokers in general do. And take, from the beginning, what you gravitate towards and grow from that. But also learn how to lead and change, because that's how we adapt. Also, how do we see real estate and landscaping evolving, and what strategies do we believe in? Agents can employ and stay ahead in this dynamic environment. How can we stay employed and stay ahead in any type of environment? So, for example, I have always been adaptable and have led the way through in the industry where the market changed. The environment is no different in any way. So going through a shift, given recent lawsuits, settlements, and having opportunity to agents to differentiate themselves and articulate their value and help winning business as they deliver positive outcomes, home buyers and sellers throughout the world. It's all a mindset. Everything comes down to a mindset. As a woman, we have risen in leadership and positions in real estate industry. What advice have we had, and what do we do for other women to aspire other women to pursue careers in the field? Well, I recommend tapping into the support of other women in the industry and actively seeking mentorship opportunities. I believe in the acknowledging limitations and seeking assistance. Know what your limitations are. That's important. Say it out loud. When necessary, whether in business or personal matters, maintain a focus on areas for critical advancement. That's what we're here for. We're here to develop you. We're here to help you figure what it is going on in your mind. I just had a conversation with someone for over an hour, cannot make a decision. So at the end of the mirror, a blueprint for change. And I leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Calvin.
Awesome. That was so inspirational. I will go ahead and now get back into the slides. Let me get back to the okay, so there is some education opportunities available for all of you. I just want to highlight and remember that we have Nikki Copa. She is presenting on Monday, June 24th, 10 a.m., the purchase agreement, the listing and buyer representation forms. This is a 2-hour walkthrough of all the new car forms that are kind of just revised and recently in June with the language regarding buyer representations. Potentially talking about the BRBC commission form and how you anticipate to be expected to get paid, whether from the seller or the buyer. It's not necessarily how to fill it out, because I already covered that with you a month ago. It's how other professionals who are trained to present this to their clients. So it's all about how you deliver the information and how you spin it and the words and phrases that you're using to explain that all commissions are negotiable. It depends on the property that you like. I can't really tell you for sure what the seller will be offering. Is there any seller incentives, and or whether or not there's a buyer commission being offered by the seller or the broker. So if you don't understand the ways of you getting paid, if you don't understand the ways of representing a buyer and in the new normal, I think you should take some of these newer classes and highlight and research some of this stuff, because it's going to be very more important for you to differentiate yourself. CIPS is a Certified International Property Specialist. Here's an opportunity on June 24th. If you're interested in getting another designation added to your resume and history of you as a professional, there's an opportunity here. You could register really to get the discounts, but just to put it out there and let you know that West San Gabriel is offering this for a 5-day session. It's roughly $400 to $450 depending on when you register. I do want to highlight a few more classes as well. So I'm going to pop into my screen and share. A featured program we have is called Agents of Change. This is going to be June 27th. Next Thursday, actually. It's not too far away. So mark your calendars. It's going to be a virtual session. The link is in this QR code right here, or you can register. We'll have this emailed out to all of you. And what we're doing in this session is only exclusively for Coldwell Banker offices, Coldwell Banker exclusive, Coldwell Banker Dynasty, Coldwell Banker George Realty. We're all going to be participating, and our agents only are going to be really just having a brainstorm idea with some really good producers. We have Sylvia, your fearless leader. You have Connie and Jerry as a married couple team, and we have Brian Almeida from exclusive, all giving their little tips and strategies. Just a really good opportunity to get to know top producers, get to know their style, the way they spin and phrase things, like I was telling you, and an opportunity where they're getting leads, where they're getting their business. And this is going to have a moderator, Roderick Logan from Anywhere Real Estate. This is a corporate branded event. Hope you can make it with and join us for this session, because and just support our awesome speakers as well. So I'll be there. I want to make sure you guys all are well aware of Thursday, June 27th, 11 to 12. The next part I want to kind of highlight with you as well is right here for classes. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. It says 2024 Marketing and Lead Gen Discussion. And this was the class I shared with you a couple of weeks ago. So they gave me the slides to it. So I really highly recommend you guys go to Coldwell Banker University. They are putting on all of these monthly classes because they know it's going back to the basics, is really revamping the education for agents. And they're putting on some really cool ideas for you to generate new leads. So if you care about your business and increasing your production, this is the class for you, because it's all about marketing and lead gen. So if you were interested in improving your production, there's an advertising and a seller strategy campaign. Okay. And what's that? There is campaigns and templates so you can send out to your clients. It's about the summer, spring season. There's a move meter as well. This move meter is something you can put into your websites. It's customizable and kind of just makes a cross comparison. If I'm Kelvin living here in, for example, Arcadia, California, and I wanted to move to Texas, or if I wanted to move to Florida, I can put in the city or zip code, and it will tell me the move meter demographics of statistics, affordability, median and average house prices. It'll tell me the move meter kind of important triggering things. So it's kind of cool to have. We also want to highlight that there's a new quotables. If you're going out on listing presentations and the seller asks you something like, what makes you special, Kelvin? What makes Coldwell Banker different from the next real estate brokerage down the street? And I can tell you there's a lot of different things that are available. You should watch and look at the 2024 quotables in your MyCB desk and share that presentation booklet. I do that as a pre-listing materials when I'm working on my CMA. I said, hey, let me share you something a little bit about my brand. Let me share a little bit about my company. And I share them this quotables because it talks about the highlights, how much reach, how great our marketing is. And it's a beautiful brochure that's free for you to send out and accompany along with your own resume or any personal information you want to share about your history or sales. So if you want, there's another resource guide. This is for MoxieWorks. If you are very interested in improving your marketing game, social media, and putting a lot of different customizable things like videos or templated just postcards or things that you want to put on your social media, it's not hard. All you have to do is just follow the instruction tutorials in here in the marketing center. You can go ahead and set up flyers, or you can set up just a little brief checklist or things like that. But and then you can put all of your branded information because it knows your phone, cell, email, and you contact your DRE license. It throws it on there all for you. All you have to do is just pick which one and style you like and download it and then share it on your phone or share it on your Instagram. Really cool stuff. So you can make short videos. Just so you know, Coldwell Banker has this cool thing now where they put on their full-fledged high quality production videos like, hey, blah, 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 blah. You know, they give you all these cool commercial ads. And then they'll feature you at the very beginning and end. It'll have your name, your contact information, and it kind of it makes it look like it's your advertisement. It's your paid commercial. So if you want to have these videos You basically just take their video and then you just insert your picture and photo, and it kind of just talks about the culture of awesomeness, our values at Coldwell Banker, and then it could be you as the shining agent. So if you want to stand out and have deliverables to your clients and make it appear to your clients that you're spending a lot of money in your business and your marketing, and typically those that have money to spend on business typically are making money. You're trying to set an illusion, or hopefully you are successful. And those that are successful, those are reinvesting in their own marketing and trying to do something unique that no other agents are really doing. Then you stand out. Then you're someone that I want to call to get an appointment and hear more about. You give yourself more opportunities. So if you want to open more doors, if you want to have more appointments, if you want to take more listings, you want to have more clients, and eventually you want to have more production, you do need to talk to more people. You do need to put yourself out there. What is Boost and why use it? There is an area called CB Boost. It can use ads. So Boost is a way where you leverage the brand's marketing connection with advertisers. So if you do have a budget for advertising, let's just say I'm willing to spend $300 a month on my business. That's $3,600 in marketing. If I want to get myself on advertisements, on listings, on Google, on Facebook, and all this different things, you can utilize the cool things about Boost, which helps you promote your open houses, your new listings, your recently sold or price reductions. It will spread all over the internet for you with very competitive pricing. Sometimes they have just as low as $99 a month if you wanted to. You can set your own budget. And it will feature to home buying different sites. It'll focus on things like Nextdoor or just people that are where buyers are shopping and where they're looking at. It will create timely ads to the zip codes and local areas that you specify, not just putting and wasting money on ads to someone in New York, because obviously I don't need to advertise there. It really localizes your advertisements to people who are in IP addresses in your specified area, like Los Angeles County. Wealth Engine is another new resource where you can kind of just understand and manage your own wealth, your own properties, your own work, business income versus kind of tracking what you're really doing well and what you're not. So check out the Wealth Engine for those of you who want to go into really just consulting with higher end clients and understanding a little bit about accounting and kind of just the background of that. So what's cool is Wealth Engine can kind of take a person such as Sally Smith, for example, who lives here. Here's her information. You're building your own database in which it finds information about the person, and it kind of tells you what their wealth score is, what kind of threshold, what kind of assets do they have, or the net worth. And so these can help you target specific individuals who are potentially could be sellers or buyers, and you can kind of time it. You can see, whoa, you have a lot of cash on hand. They might be making a move. So if you are looking for someone to work with, check out Wealth Engine. The classes was teaching you how to use it. So they'll put on a new class for Wealth Engine if you're interested in this. And there's a sphere of influence class. This is cool because if you're into lead generation, you're really into building you're letting your own network understand what you do great, and you want to be able to brag about it. Why don't you attend July 12th or 22nd for this registration on Coldwell Banker University? Because you could really understand a lot more and get more business when this is a referral business, guys. When you have 5 people that love you, trust you, your family, and maybe those 5 people are like your family or close friends, they're supporting you and they'll throw you, referral. Hey, my friend Kelvin, he's a great broker. You should talk to him and if you want to buy or sell. And 5 people is nice to have advocating for your potential, just opportunity to meet, refer, and hopefully get a new client. The problem is 5 people is not enough. these 5 people of yours, you can maybe count on them for one transaction a year. That's 5 sales a year. I cannot survive in this inflated economy on 5 sales a year. If you're full-time in this industry, you need to have 10 times that amount. You need to have 50 people advocating for you. 50 people hopefully giving you a referral once a year. Because if you get 50 appointments a year from just your referral, your sphere of influence, that could lead to a conversion rate of just 20%. That's 10 sales a year. Okay, so you don't get every business, but you get 20%. I know you could do better than that, but 20% is a very realistic number of those appointments becoming a true client. Hopefully, it's more like 50% to 70%. So 10 sales a year, I'm happy. Okay, I got enough to make 200,000 a year on 10 sales. So if you're not at that level, that means that you do not have 50 people advocating for you. That's the best source of business, right? And it's always been the test of the time. So a reminder, every Friday they are doing features. Feature Focus Friday picks apart a section in Moxie and teaches a new skill to you. So for those of you who've been on board and going every Friday at 9 o'clock, they've been having a great session on a new tool and new tip to make sure you're aware and utilizing the cool things that you can do in the platform of Moxie. So just reminding you, Focus Friday is always there for you. And here's all the presentations and all these different types of links that you can get into if you want to self-teach yourself. To me, it's just always good to get and listen to the sessions, because if you try to self-teach yourself and you don't understand all the shortcuts and the features, and you don't understand how to really leverage all this stuff and use it well. So that's the session there. Another session is July 31st, and this is for another, just another 1 hour session for you to go on marketing. So with that said, I do have a couple of things I wanted to share before we get into our new listings. And that's the market update. So I know it's hard to see. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. So the economic reports do show some signs of inflation is cooling off. The Fed Reserve, they had a meeting in June, and they basically just held the rates steady in the last meeting. They expect one rate cut later on this year. That's really the revised, they do the whole dot plot map, and they basically just said, we might just do one rate cut this year. And that just might be a modest 25 basis points. What you should be looking into is, and I'm sorry, let me move this down a little bit. So the Fed rate, I gotta zoom back out. It's not wanting me to do this. So inflation is eased down a bit. That's the good news. Home buying sentiment dips as rates rise, and a lot of people have been just kind of exhausted, disappointed, or the buyers are just kind of fell off the fence. Homeowner equity has been risen from years ago. This is all positive news that CAR wants you to see. Consumers are optimistic about the inflation outlook. I disagree. I mean, I don't think consumers are optimistic about their financial situation. Most people are not satisfied. Maybe they're lazy or just complacent. But at the end of the day, my opinion is that we have a shift in the market going on right now. For the last pandemic, in the last 8-9 years, it's been primarily in our area a seller's market, predominantly throughout every year, right? A seller's market is now, to me, transitioning into a normal market. It's having a lot more leverage for buyers right now, and I'm seeing some indications. When do I know that we have an indication of a seller's market, or I'm sorry, more towards a buyer's market? You have to look at inventory. Okay. So I'm sharing a screen from CAR, and this is California's housing supply. You can see here in the latest uptick that in May's data is showing an uptick in inventory. I guarantee you when you look at June inventory, it's even ticking a little bit higher than that. What we're noticing is that 32% of the listings are having to reduce their price. 1 out of 3 listings is reducing their price. That's much different from just a year ago, where almost maybe less than 10% of the listings, I remember reporting this to you, only 1 out of 10 had to reduce their price. Otherwise, all the listings were selling like hotcakes. So this is a definite indication of rising inventory, slowness of basically longer days on market, a slowness of buyers' demand. It is really kind of just they're not as aggressive as they were before. We're not showing any growth in price anymore. So that's another indicator that tells us that there's more room to negotiate your offers if you're representing a buyer. This is an opportunity now for buyers to get back into the market when everyone has kind of left and escaped. You have less competition, and you'll be able to maybe find 1 out of 3 homes reducing their price, and the sellers are motivated or highly desperate to sell. So if you are representing buyers, go and write those offers. Write it where they feel your buyer feels like they're getting a deal. And if you can do that and work a little bit, negotiate a little bit, you're increasing your chances to get deals under contract simply by just introducing to them and say, hey, I know this listing over here. I talked to the agent. They said just submit any offer. They really want to sell. If I called 50 listings right now and I talked to the agents and I said, is there room to negotiate this price? And I talked to the properties that are like 30 days on the market plus, I can usually find 5 great deals out of these 50 listings that I can probably hear from indicating from the listing agent, please, please, please give me an offer. I just want to get it off. I need to present something. My seller wants to move to here or there. We'll open up terms. We'll be easier to negotiate with, this and this and that. We'll give you incentives. So identify those hot picks of yours. Identify some values. Go out and introduce them to your clients. Get some deals done. You'll make it'll be easier now working with buyers because you don't have 20 offers competing against. It might just be 1 or 2. Okay, so if we go down to the county level of LA, I kind of wanted to just show you a little bit about Southern California, because that's what I was showing you was the entire state. Now I go into June. Let me go into the most recent month, which is May of 2024, Southern California. And in our region, it's 30% have to reduce price. It still has rising inventory. It's modest 1% median price growth. Our area is taking 3 weeks to sell a listing, 20 days, okay, on average. So that's a clear indication they're not flying off like the 7-10 days that it was in the past, right? But we're dealing now, a median price in our Southern California is $1,058,000. 40% of the existing single family residence listings are broken up primarily mostly in Los Angeles. And as far as what you should take from this, the areas that have the most price discount, the softness, is the luxury market. The $1 million, $2 million plus homes in our region will show the strongest, I guess you say, the biggest and largest discounts. Okay. Obviously, an $800,000 single family house, that doesn't come down that much, like 10%, because it's still a single family. It still has no HOA. It's still a piece of land and structure. You're gonna still have and hold its equitable value on the market. So 800,000, there's a lot of people in that price point that can shop for 800, but there's very few that can shop for $3 million home. So therefore, those are going to have the softness in the pricing. Okay, understand? All right. So other than that, I want to talk about open houses in the new normal. Post-settlement, the new change by NAR is requiring MLS participants, which is you, if you're working with the buyer into a written agreement, you must have a written agreement with the buyer before you tour any homes. This also leads to questions about how agents should handle their own visitors to open houses. So here's a little bit about how you can hold open houses real quick. Yes, listing agents, you can still hold open houses to the public. The agents that accompany or bring their buyers to showings, for example, you're still supposed to have a written agreement, like a BRBC form signed. It could just be for that one specific listing. It could just be for that one specific day of showings you're doing, or it could be like a 1 month or 3 month type of situation, depending on your contract and your agreement with your client. Do you need to have every open house visitor register or sign a login sheet or a non-agency agreement? That depends on your relationship. We have 3 different new forms for these 3 different situations. You have to ask the adult visitors only, starting in late June, which is this month, the new open house visitor non-agency disclosure and sign-in sheet called OHNA-SI. The visitor acknowledges that this is an open house, that there's no agency fiduciary duty being provided to you, from you to them, and you're not necessarily representing them. You're simply just letting them know and acknowledging that the visitor is there today. You are there to show it with them as a procuring cause, and they have the opportunity to input and write in who is their agent so that you can contact and follow up with them. So if the buyer says, oh yeah, I have an agent, it's my sister-in-law, her name is Sally Smith with ABC Realty, they can write that phone number so you can contact the buyer's agent. Hey, Sally Smith, your in-laws came this morning to my open house. Sally, do you know, and can you follow up with the buyer? She seemed very interested in the property and spent 30 minutes here. They asked me a question about this and that. Can you follow up with them and give them some estimate of the value or potentially write an offer? My name's Kelvin. Would love to work with you. Here's my information as well. By the way, we're offering an incentive to brokers. We're offering up to X amount of commission towards, so we are still paying a commission. Or I can say, by the way, Sally Smith, the seller is offering a seller incentive towards the buyer's closing costs. This incentive is significant. It's $15,000. Okay, it can offset and be used towards closing costs or buyer's commission, whatever you like. Just letting you know, because I wanted to make sure you're aware of this listing and our incentive. Thank you. So you're gonna pick up the phone, do a little bit more work, but this is where you as a broker, because you can't put commission in the MLS. You could put seller incentives in the MLS, but you can't put the broker's compensation. So the brokers, if you're taking for example, a 5% listing with the seller, you can't input that you're sharing half of that in the MLS. You can call the agents and offer it to them. Okay, you can put it in an email to your database. There is another open house form for unrepresented visitors who would like to create a working relationship with you as their agent. And if you, this open house agent may say, okay, here's a limited buyer representation or a full buyer representation agreement. I would love to be your buyer's agent. This limited form is only really applicable for 30 days. It's not exclusive. It's only applicable to this open house property. I would love to help you structure and write a very fair offer to the owner, and let's negotiate this to your preferences. I'll try my best. And you can, if you're going to extend your relationship beyond the single open house that you're working, then don't use the limited property representation form. Use the standard BRBC if you're going to use multiple properties. This one can last 3 months, period of time. The limited one typically really only lasts 30 days. If the visitor refuses to sign anything, but only wants to look at the property, then the open house agent is advised by CAR to refrain from providing any information about the property other than the information sheet prepared by the listing agent. Engaging beyond that may lead the visitor to believe that the open house is acting as their agent. So if you accompany them and talk about all the great things and tell them about the potential incentives and this and that, you're basically opening up that they can interpret you as their relying on you as their information and thinking that there's a fiduciary relationship when there actually is not. So if they refuse to sign, then you don't really give service. That's what it's saying. However, I want to caution you that when you're not giving any service to a specific individual who refused to sign your form, just be cautious in today's day and age where people feel like, hey, I noticed Kelvin or whoever was talking to every single person and was very welcoming and very nice to everyone that walked through the property. But for me, he didn't even say a word. He only gave me a piece and just gave me a piece of a flyer, didn't say anything. I feel I'm being discriminated against. Be cautious against people who always are just sensitive because they didn't sign that form and then you don't give them any attention. So just some advice over there. And let's jump back into our slides. For rewards, we've covered the market minute. And again, a reminder, insurance is very difficult to obtain, at least if you trying to find a reasonable quote, because all the quotes I've seen are very high or hard and difficult to find a carrier. So when you open escrow representing a buyer, it is your duty during your contingency period of your whatever due diligence, 14, 17 days, to be able to find the insurability pricing and estimates quotes. So have your clients submit and find early because it could take 10 days to use and find something with the California Fair Plan, which is the backup. It takes a long time to get a quote from them, but there's the options available. There's very few left here in California, so make sure you're shopping around. My YouTube channel is where I keep all our recorded sessions and classes, so check that out. Now let's get into our new listings, guys. Any questions on anything? Any topics you guys want to cover before I get into listings?
Hello, Calvin.
Yes. Hi, Nilafar.
I sent you a text through the chat regarding our global luxury referral opportunity. Will you pitch that for us, for the global committee?
Yes, I do have something.
Thank you.
I don't know if I have the flyer with me, but definitely I'll go to the website. And thank you for reminding me.
Appreciate that. It's going to be tomorrow between 5 to 7.
All right, set the calendars because the AAR Global Committee is putting on a nice class. And it's going to be from 5 to 7. So if you're interested in, and this is a luxury type of referral situation, These are the speakers. We have Alex Caraco, Julia Apraska, Rebecca Clower, and Rafaela Leon. This is a free class, no walk-ins, just register. And what they're doing is by Zoom, the speakers are going to be talking about various areas. So this person is from the United Kingdom, I believe. This speaker is kind of talking about global luxury in Bali. And this one is talking about Costa Rica and projects they have over there, as well as Panama City. And if you have clients that are international or luxury buyers seeking investments or properties and having nice second vacation homes, well, why not go to Bali? It's a wonderful island and buy something over there, or in Costa Rica, where things are still very affordable, or Panama, where there's a crazy buzz and a lot of city and crime there. Anyway, so if you want to go ahead and check this out, they're putting on a lot of different sponsors, and this is our global committee with AAR. Hope you can attend. That's my pitch.
Thank you.
All right. I just was in Panama and Costa Rica. Nice countries. Here we go. Ryan Go has a nice, beautiful listing right here. I'm getting to presentation mode. And this new listing of Ryan's is Canterbury Court, Lake Arrowhead. Gorgeous property. Look at that entrance. I would love, this looks like a hotel lobby feel where you could drive up and have a valet driver just kind of just welcome you. Awesome. Wouldn't that be nice to have your home and for only 2.55 million, you get 80,000 lot size and a giant 76. That seems to me a very priced very well. Hopefully this has a water access rights to the shore. Talk to Ryan if you have any clients looking for something like this. It could be a great vacation, Airbnb, short-term rental type of home situation, small bed and breakfast business you want to go going. Whatever you're with 80,000 lot size, you could do a lot. Henry Liu has a lease listing in Arcadia on Fairview. This apartment is 800 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, 2,200 per month. And Winnie Bai, she's got a lease in Rose Glen, El Monte, 2,300 for this 700 square foot, 2 bedroom, 1 bath rental. We do have a few closers as well. Margaret and Amy closed Beverly Glen in Los Angeles. This condo sold 1.110 million. Congratulations to them. And Atri Pat, so proud of her. She got 522 Newmark in Monterey Park. This condo closed at 680,000. Henry and Cindy Dow. On Monterey Park, they have a Monterey Pass Road. It looks like in a warehouse and industrial use property. Nice new asphalt in the front. This building sold for 3.15 million. Congratulations to Anis. She has a nice new little property for rent. 5450 in Arcadia. This single family is hot. It should lease really quickly because it's only $2 a square foot. Very, very reasonable. $2.30. Very reasonable priced and nice single family. She also has another one in Temple City for rent. 6224 Roland Ave, 3,800 per month for lease. Michael Dang has this one for rent, 6965 Ferncroft Avenue in San Gabriel. 2,000 square feet plus on a large 8,900 lot. And Julia has a nice new listing. Oh, closed. I'm sorry. These are all closed. I'm sorry. These are closed transactions. So Julia closed on Francisquito in Baldwin Park. This one is 663,000 sold. I believe she did say something to me about this is the highest the community ever sold for. So she's very proud of that. And proud of Michael Reynoso. He closed 220 Sunset Avenue in San Gabriel, 775,000. This was for sold for land value. 2272 Los Flores. Congratulations, Sylvia. She sold Pomona, 680,000 single family. She's on fire. She also closed in Carson. This 3-bedroom, 2-bath structure home sold for 715,000. Awesome job, Sylvia. And Winnie, I'm very proud of her. She sold 1026 Workman in West Covina, sold for 845,000. Great job, Winnie. And Manny Aquino, he closed 1455 California Ave in Glendale. Great job, 750,000. Sherry Wong, just to also Manny congratulated him. He had a client and he utilized our co-banker network. What did he do? He had a client moving to San Diego, picked up his phone and just said, "Hi, San Diego Coal Banker agent." I told him that Coal Banker West is strong down there, and he just picked up a call, found a good realtor to help him in his area, and got a referral commission that came last week. So very happy that Manny got another additional supplemental in by just picking up a phone call and helping your clients wherever they're moving to. Every time you just find out, ask them if they would like me to help them find a great buyer's rep to help them in the search for a replacement property. And I can easily just pick up, screen 5 agents, pick one, introduce them to my client, get paid when they finish closing. Cherry Wong closed on this land in Covina for 710,000. Great job to her. She's gonna build it, so that's really cool. We do have several builders in our office, and she's one of them. 13426 Tracy Street in Baldwin Park. This condo is sold for 575. Congratulations, Julia. She's been on fire. And Esther Zhang, I'm so happy to see she got this closed escrow. This was 267 Streamwood in Irvine. Condo sold for 500,000. And Daniel Wong, he closed 2942 Gramercy Street in Pomona. Sold for $750,000. Good job, Daniel. I personally do have something to pitch. I have another listing in Pomona. If you're looking for something in the northern Pomona region around I think we're going to be coming out at 688,000. It's a very nice townhouse style, newer construction, just like 5-6 years old. That's going to be a 3-bedroom available. I'm sorry, it's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. So let me know if you have anyone looking for Pomona. Any other things from your end you guys want to pitch? If not, I could either conclude today's meeting, or does anyone really want me to? I do have time to share a little bit about the market update if you want to go through that. It's up to you guys. I'll share a few slides, but that's pretty much the end of today's training. I did download the slides from CAR's chief economist, Jordan Levine. So if you want to stick around for that, that's up to you. I'll talk about it because I personally am an economist. This was information presented 2 weeks ago. So what's the good news and the bad news? We're really in a twilight zone. So what we're finding out, there is a lot of bad news. The economy is overperforming on jobs and GDP. The consumers still propel the economy. Things are progressing as broadcasted by the Fed. But are these good news? There is signs of cracks of jobs, of consumers and a lot of companies downsizing. There is credit card debt levels rising way too fast. The office sector is struggling very hard, where you have a lot of vacant, big, high-rise buildings, and offices aren't really gathering anymore. Workers are allowed to work from home 50% of the time. And so there's different situations now where the demand for office spaces are just really not as strong as it was before. So this is kind of weird or awkward because the economy, we don't know where we're going. There's a lot of challenges. Inventory is rising slowly, as we can see. And here's the labor market. I'm not going to cover all the slides, but consumers are the driving force behind all the retail going on, all the sales. They're still spending like crazy. People are still putting it on the card and delaying that payment till 30 days later. So there's a lot of debt still rising. And inflation is inch by inch. We're really seeing that, core inflation and all the stuff that we're kind of measuring right now, it's moderating. It is slightly moving down, ticking in the right direction, but just taking a lot longer to get there. So in terms of the Fed funds target, we are beneath the target, but at the same time, we're still at an elevated levels of inflation. So we look at the 10-year treasury, that's this orange line. That's typically where most indexes will follow. What we're seeing is the actual 30-year mortgage rates is more closer towards the 7% level. And that's still something that's elevated, that we're more than we're used to. But it's hopefully will cool down. Maybe October or November we'll finally have that 25 basis rate cut. But it's not as strong as it appears. Our economy does have some empty areas. There's two stories going on. Is California non-farmland and household employment. Non-farm means basically everything except for agricultural land. So when we look at that and we look at employment and household employment, it's very staggering that they're reporting way different numbers. Okay, so these are the actual number of jobs available, and we're seeing it's kind of has a very mild, modest tick marks. The sectors that are plateauing in California, well, it's really more in education and healthcare. These are the largest growth sectors in our California state in jobs. Second is accommodation and food services. Maybe it has to deal with fast food workers getting $20 an hour raise. So then people are moving to food services. I don't know. But as you can see, we are having a downtick in jobs. Information, IT, the 43,000 people left, or maybe it's companies that have left and stopped in California. So there's less IT, there's less insurance and finance people. There's less logistics going on. So that's the opposite of growth right there. Unemployment rate currently sitting around 5.3%. Labor market, I'm sorry, we talked about that one. Something's really got to give with the consumers eventually is what he's saying. And so when we look at the amount of debt going on, we're at the highest amount of debt ever in history. The US credit card and delinquency rate we're seeing is starting to uptick. So the last recent quarters are showing some delinquencies and high interest balances where people can't pay it off the full balance. So they're paying that 29, 30% plus late interest charges. And so we're seeing both of them tick upwards. Here's the vacancy rates. 32% of vacancies, especially in San Francisco, you can see here, is suffering. Los Angeles, downtown LA, I was there yesterday, suffering. A lot of vacancies, a lot of homelessness. So rate cuts have not been ruled out yet. They were just saying one rate cut. So this is our current interest rates, but put it into perspective, okay? We are at elevated levels. Yes, we're 7% right around now, but we've had 14, 15 great years of very low interest rates. Out of the last 50 years of the industry, only these 15 years really where we were at attractive incentivized rates where the government was stimulating the economy. So yes, we were spoiled during the last 15 years, but the other 35 years of the last has been at 7% plus, is what we're trying to say. Buyer demand is very sensitive to the rate changes, as you can see. So demand has trended downwards. Sellers are starting to bounce back. So these are the amount of sales year over year and month to month, just kind of showing to you, and they break it up by region and by growth. But 2024 for us in Southern California, it's just a 1% sales growth. This is about Long Beach because that's where they were doing the presentation. Other than that, the lock-in effect on current owners from interest rates is still very strong. Sellers are still locked in because most of them, vast majority of them, fall in this bucket, under 4% interest rates of their mortgage. So if you add 37 plus 30 here, that's 67%. 2/3 of the sellers have a great attractive 4% rate that they do not want to lose. 2/3 of the people do not want to lose their property because they can't find anything with the same or similar payment. So you'll see a high tick upwards of inventory. As an economist, as inventory supply rises, that's where you will find demand. Finally, prices will fall. So we have more negotiability towards your asking prices. You have a 1 in 3 chance of getting something under asking right now. Other than that, let's look at the median days on market. So that is kind of right here showing a kind of bottoming out. And if we go to the most recent month of May and June, I do believe you'll see that days on market is starting to climb. As you can see, 1/3 of the transactions had to reduce the price. 11% are selling at asking price, and the increased price of 50% are selling above asking. So those are just the month-to-month and year-to-year trends on prices. Sellers need to be more strategic. So just understand how buyers look at property. They have a whole calculator here on the website of CAR where you can calculate various types of scenarios based on the buying power. It's very interesting. There's no REOs yet. There's no fire sales. There's no short sales. There's no foreclosure activity going on. Very, very few. So because of that, you are not seeing distressed sales. Distressed sales, when you start seeing short sales or REOs, that is when you will know that there is an opportunities of a buying market because they're just fire selling these assets or non-performing assets and putting it out on the market. So we don't have that right now. So today is not the day to find the greatest opportunity, but there are opportunities everywhere. So delinquency currently half of historical averages. So people still are paying off their mortgage. They are being responsible. Here's the net worth forecast for 2024 for the rest of 2024. Projected, we're seeing maybe percent change of maybe 13.1% change of resales of property. In terms of price, yes, it's going to be spiking still higher, but this is a good signal that we're going to have 13% more inventory change. We're going to have, in terms of housing affordability, they project that it's going to be a more affordable. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage is kind of cooling down a little bit from the elevated levels of 2023. So we should see a little bit more activity. And that's it for Jordan Levine's slides. Any questions? All right. Well, thank you for sticking out. Yeah, go ahead.
Although we see that the rate hasn't changed much, but we see there is a fluctuation in the change. I don't know. What do you think about it? Why there is this fluctuation in the rate, although the Fed hasn't reduced it?
You're talking about the interest rate being offered to buyers? Are you
Yes,
talking about the federal fund rate?
yes.
The differences you're talking about, I mean, the Fed funds target rate is not the exact 30-year interest rate that we refer to as in the industry. That's the first clear indication. It's two separate rates. Okay.
Okay.
So the federal funds target is the cost, and the what they're indicating and referencing is 125 basis point rate cut from now to the end of the year. That's their projection. That target rate that they're indicating is what the banks and the entire stock market and the sophisticated large institutional money, everyone references the federal fund, that target rate, that the rate that they're putting out there as the index for what the institution is going to be charging for example, APRs, annual percentage rate yields, or they're going to charge, the banks are going to charge certain types of loans that they issue to the borrowers. They do prime plus 2, for example. And so those institutional banks, when they lend money, they are going to use that federal funds target, because that's going to be increasing or keeping their cost to lend at that rate much more higher. So there's no decrease in those rates. Therefore, they have to kind of just be more prudent and, I guess, wise on how they fund different types of businesses or different loans that they're kind of reviewing in their portfolio. The stocks and investors use that as an indication of where we're at in measuring inflation. So that's to really offset the inflation in that federal fund target rate is based upon that measure. As a 30-year home buyers, banks in the home mortgage industry will also use that rate, and there's a strong correlation, but there is not necessarily what's called exactly following the same time measures. Our 30-year fixed rate is basically the cost of borrowing from the mortgager's perspective of what they can expect to resell this to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and which they'll measure that. That's why the mortgage broker is going to be using that index and how much spread that they can yield from the resale by following, for example, a conventional loan. It's very different. The rates have not fallen much, but I've seen customers getting under 7% the past several months. So it really just depends on how much that broker wants to yield or earn. Just like in anything, rates are negotiable, just like your commissions are negotiable. Okay.
Okay, that's great.
So
Thank you.
sorry to it's very roundabout way of saying they're tied together, but at the same time, you have to just kind of understand when the interest rates for mortgages eventually cool off to 5% or 6% under that threshold. Yes, it's more affordable. Buying power now is greater. The borrowing power is much more effective, where they're not paying as much interest over the 30 years. But at the same measure, that does not necessarily mean prices will fall, because there also is another 20% of the buyers out there that now are in the shopping market because now they qualify, now they're eligible. So you'll have more competition when rates fall. Okay, so it could be, again, going over asking. It still could be competitive of a bidding wars happening when you have rate reductions. Okay.
And
Great.
most likely, historically, right, Kelvin, don't prices go up when interest rates go down?
Yeah, because people can afford, or they have more what's called borrowing power. They can pay a little bit more to the seller to compete and get the offer accepted, and when the rates drop, that comparing it, use the rate calculator that we just showed you in the slide. It shows you how much impact it has on borrowing power. But at the end of the day, yes, you do have, and you can afford, when you have cheap money, you're willing to throw money around more. If your rates drop down to below 3% like it was before, people in the pandemic were paying 200 over asking. We think that's crazy, but
Yeah.
they were borrowing for under 3%. Oh, great. I got 200,000 for only 3%. Awesome. I'll buy the single family and I'll compete. I'll throw a great offer. I want that property. And turned out some of them made smart decisions. Some of them acquired a property they thought or felt it was overpriced, or 19 other home buyers were discouraged or said no to. But there's one buyer that had the faith. Okay.
And that's one thing you can count on. The real estate market is always in change. It's
That's
always going to change.
It's the market. Okay. And the great thing is, we're not in a suffering area like Texas, who has a wide supply of high inventory. You'll see Texas having declines in values. There's we're in a state of high demand still. We're still in a state of high property values. Okay. So we still have ability to make a good living in real estate.
The other question, Calvin, now you brought up the Texas. Before we saw that the going down the market, it has started from, for example, San Diego, or it started from Orange County, or it started for LA County, and then affect the other counties. Where have you seen this effect going on? Is it more towards South or San Diego, or towards us?
What effect are you talking about? I'm talking about increase, decrease in supply. What are we talking about?
Decrease the value, not the supply.
We don't
Now
have a decrease of
supply-
value. The only indication I'm showing you that there is a signal that with rising supply, which we're starting to get an uptick, our current supply in Los Angeles County is below pre-pandemic levels.
Yes.
So in 2019, we still, even then, when everything was healthy, normal, and good, 2019, we had a high supply of inventory. And we thought everything was expensive back then. We thought, oh my God, it just keeps going up and up and up. And actually, if you bought back then, you would have made money. But anyway, so even in 2019, we felt that it was expensive. Even the rates were under 5% at that time. It was actually under 4%. And our current supply levels is below that. So it's still not an area where I see what's called a crash or any type of bubble. No, it's not happening. I'm just seeing softness in certain segments. And the softness I'm seeing is certain sellers either are showing price reductions. 1 out of 3 need to reduce their price. You have days on market, not from 10 to 14 days anymore. Now our days on market is 20 days on market plus. Okay. Then you have to, what happens? You have to have sellers compete one another. Because if you have a vacant house, eventually it gets painful to continue to keep a high asking price, or to keep the same realtor that they've been working with who is not getting results. So some sellers will ask and change realtors. Some sellers will reduce their price. Some will stay stubborn and just keep on saying, I'll wait for the market to come up. And maybe they're patient enough to wait 5 years for the rates to cool down. And eventually, yeah, they kept the same price. Eventually, the market will come up to them. Hope you have, if you're that listing agent, hope you have a 5-year listing contract for a stubborn seller who's overinflated in their value. Okay. But if you have a reasonable seller and they understand the market and they understand the holding cost and they understand that they don't want to have 2 mortgages being paid at the same time, for example, they definitely do need to make price corrections timely, understand who they're competing against, and track the active inventory nearby your surrounding area to see which ones are selling and why didn't I sell. See where they price themselves and where they position themselves in the asking price. Positioning yourself is very important in your consultations with your sellers in today's listing presentations. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great week, everyone. I'm heading out. Thank you. I'm available. Reach
All
out.
right.
Bye.
Okay. Great questions,
Thank you.
Nilafar. Thanks for being,
Thank
and
you,
all you guys for
Calvin.
staying on to the very end. That's it. I'll stop recording and I'll see you next week.